The first thunder continues. This is Ghost Wolf's vision and the old man speaking to him. Old man continues. There will be small pockets of calm and safety for those who have food and deep rock water surface. So if you are protected by the trees and are at the higher altitudes in granite mountains, your odds for serenity will be greatly enhanced. For most, this is going to mean a rough school and accelerated one in learning to get along with people, learning to put aside petty judgments and those of crass manners, learning to be gracious. This is a different kind of war, but it is a war, the war of valued life. Be prepared to take care of at least 20 people at each camp. Your camps should be 1 day's travel from each other, so you can travel with your young ones and elders. Stay to the highlands. There you will be safe from the flooding. And the trees in the mountains will slow the devil winds that are coming and protect you from the green mists that fall from the sky. These things are coming very soon. Old man continues speaking. When the wind comes, you will look for tornadoes, but there will be none. It is the whirlwinds, the demons that are born of man's dark nature. The mother can no longer hold them. She is too weak. Just as she can no longer hold the poisons in the sky, for the atmosphere is too weak. Both time and space are filled with holes from all the experimenting. Mankind, in his experimenting, has ripped open the tinsel bubble that was created after the last destruction to protect them. The scientists are aware of this, but are not letting you know for obvious reasons. Diseases will begin coming now more frequently due to the little devil winds, or due to the little devils that there will be no cure for, like a virus of sorts. They will come from monkeys and cows, or bats or birds, or swine. Oh my God. I digress. Also, they will come from the taking of drugs, which will be even in the plants that will come from the water that is poisoned with their chemicals. You will need to grow your own food in the mountains where the snow will keep things pure. There will be less diseases there, and the marauders will be afraid of the spirits and animals that will become much more aggressive towards those of lesser consciousness. This is already occurring, even amongst the peaceful ones. Our kind is vanishing as a result of the madness played out upon this land. And there is an energy that has been released that cannot be turned around any longer. Many humans, as well as our kind, are dying as a result of the little devils. Perhaps 85% of all life forms present are in peril at this moment. There are devices that can filter out 2 of these devils, but the third cannot be filtered out by your drinking water. When the 3 of them come together, death is very quick and will be known as the new plagues. There will be martial law in the cities, even in the towns outside the cities, but in rural areas, with the exception of locations where there are military bases, This will last for only a little while. For the situation in the cities will become such that those trying to keep control by force will have to send their forces to those areas to maintain their control. For in the cities, they will have gone mad with the pain of death and dying. Old Man continues to speak to Ghost Wolf about the vision. You will see strange things in the skies. Then Old Man pointed to the sky, and I saw what looked like bubbles. You know, when you look through the bubble and everything is blurred. Some started to open up like holes, and when they did, I could hear a horrible roar. As the sound emitted from the sky, I could feel the earth beneath start to shake. Smells came from the ground that I was not familiar with. As close as I can describe, it smelled like sickness, increasing my desire to retch. The air was thick. This is Ghost Wolf now. The air was thick. There were velvet-like particles in it. They were hard to move through my nasal passages when I would breathe. It burned my lungs. I was still looking up at the sky, and there appeared to be a faint mist of green coming from the holes and raining down upon the ground. I looked up again upon the ground, and there were huge cracks opening around me. They appeared more like wounds in flesh than cracks in the ground. Then I felt something like a raindrop, but it was thicker, like starch. It was falling from the hole in the sky. As it landed upon the earth, the evaporation process turned it into gas. This was the source of the odor I smelled. Then Old Man pointed to the creek, and I saw the fish. They were dead, floating in the water with their bellies up. They too had oozing open sores. I remember screaming. Then somehow I was seeing things from a new perspective. Yes, that was it. I was seeing it from the sky. I was flying. What a vision. My eye through which I was seeing was the eye of a bird, an eagle's eye. I was flying high over the ocean, along the coastline. There were storms coming from the distance. I could see them, but they were strange. They had strange colors to the clouds, and the lightning was very large, if that makes sense. There was flooding everywhere and dead whales, as well as other fish floating in the water, which looked like a river churning after a storm. It was brown and full of earth and garbage, a lot of garbage. There were parts of buildings floating and boats, tankers. I made one out to be at least. They were all broken into little pieces. I saw fires raging below me, but the fire was coming from the cracks in the earth. Then I seemed to be flying in the desert, not over red rocks, but dry brush, maybe Nevada, California, or California. There were thousands of people, some in vehicles and some on foot. They seemed to be migrating, headed. That was it. They were headed towards the mountains. I could see a city in the distance. It looked like Las Vegas. Helicopters again. One seemed to be right on top of me. I turned to look at it, and the next thing I know, I was sitting by the fire again. And the old man was still there, but it was as if he had turned into a mist before me. Smiling, very quiet and still. It was as if life itself had taken a breath. Everything was still. His vision was over. It's quite a journey this man went on. Fireside. It was over. As Old Man was becoming more like the mist, his voice was clear, although very soft. I could swear that I saw tears in his shimmering eyes. Man will blame Creator for all of this, as he always has. He will curse the earth and ask for the mountains to fall down upon him. But they will not. Out of frustration and fear, many will die needlessly. They always have. Those who rule over much of this world, as well as mankind, will scream their blind anger to the heavens. But the Creator will not hear. Then the thunder will begin again. They will try to use their technology, but their attempts will be useless, for their devices will not work upon the earth or in the heavens. With that, Old Man got paler and paler. Then he was gone. A sudden crack came from the fire. Pow! I nearly jumped when it startled me. Only some gas in a log. I sat back, lit a cigarette, searching for a calm. I poured some coffee from the pot that was sitting on the rocks near the edge of the fire. I do not remember how I got to the second experience, but suddenly I was there. I was hearing a different voice, yet the same voice. This time I was actually quite calm and just accepted it. The first thunder. Oh.